Mic check, mic check. 1 2 1 2. Mic check. 1 2 1 2. What is good? What is good? What is good, ladies and gentlemen? Of course, you know who I be. Good Doc. Dr. Mike TV back again, once again. You already know what it is, baby. Poised to be an instant classic in the making. If this is by far your first ever interaction and experience over here on the Dr. Mike TV channel, ladies and gentlemen, you already know what to do. Make sure you drop your like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you notify, make sure you do all the good things to make yourself well versed in the Good Docs content. All my good stuff shall be listed in the links in the description area below. It's been a minute, ladies and gentlemen, but I had to get back at it like a crack addict because today we talking about more money, more problems. You feel me? We are talking about more money, more problems, especially when it comes to traveling to the Philippines. Now, I'm very curious and intrigued by the audience's answer to tonight's questionable topic. All right. So if you haven't already dropped your like, make sure you do that. Today, ladies and gentlemen, I want to know, in your personal opinion, what is the absolute best way, in your opinion, to get money to the Philippines? Now, yesterday, guys, we talked about how much money, or at least in my short vid, the question of the day yesterday asked, how much money should you bring with you to the Philippines, or how much money should you have available to you for a 2 week vacation? Doc, he gave you his answer. If you haven't checked it out, make sure you do. But basically, I gave you that particular answer of the amount of money that I think is good for my first time travelers to the country. Now, I'm thinking about it for a little bit. Then we talked about the use of money changers, right? Let's say you come with a substantial amount of money with you and you want to run over to a money changer or use the bank or cash out some money inside the airport. We talked about a plethora of different options for you to change your home country's currency to that currency of the Philippines, known as the Philippine peso. But today, ladies and gentlemen, I want to know what works best for you, right? If you had to choose a way to get money to the Philippines, what do you think works best for you? Now, there are a multitude of different directions we could take with a topic of conversation or a question like this. Some people may say, Doc, when I come to the Philippines, man, I have all of my currency that I plan on bringing physically on me. Now, I do pray that the money that you bring with you when you bring it or travel with it is less than $10,000 USD, because if not, then you have to claim it, right? Now, hypothetically speaking, let's say you bring about 5 grand with you. Let's say that I'm going to utilize 5,000 US dollars to support myself for the duration of my time in country, however long that duration is. I'm going to have 5K with me and I'm bringing the full 5K with me. What are the benefits of you doing that? The benefit is all of your money is available to you, right? If you need it, it's within arm's length, right? So if you need to run down to a money changer real quick to go ahead and get you a couple of pesos to your name, you can do that, right? Now, if you're going to utilize that option, there is also some downsides to utilizing that particular option. If you bring all of your money with you in physical cash, you run the risk of losing it. I'm not going to say you're going to lose it, but what happens if you do lose it, right? What happens if you do lose the money that you bring? Well, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? You just SOL, right? You bring 5K with you, you cash out a little $1,000. Let's say you get your little 50,000 pesos with you. For example, hypothetically, randomly, you lose it while you're doing whatever it is, or somebody robs you or some shit. Now you just asked out. You're literally asked out of that money. So it can benefit you to have that money available to you immediately if you need it. Like, for example, I don't have to send money to myself or wait a couple of days to have access to my money. I can have access to it right now. Yes, that is actually beneficial. But when you're hoarding that type of cash with you guys, that is not always going to yield the best results. Best way for me to put it, guys. It's not going to always yield the best results. Now, you have some guys who will say, you know what, Doc? I'm going to come with about $500, right? $500 pocket cash, 400, 500 pocket cash. But if I need, I'm going to just send money to myself via Western Union, via PayPal, or whatever. I don't know. You're just going to send the money to yourself. I like that idea. But heaven forbid you have an emergency or something that requires you to need money up front, like right now and not tomorrow. You have to wait for the transaction to complete. You have to wait for the money to be available. You have to physically go to that pickup location, get that money so that you can have access to the cash that you need. Sometimes in what I would like to say in the mindset and the lifestyle of a foreigner in the Philippines, a lot of guys aren't willing to sit there and waste a lot of time with going back and forth to money, not money changers, but going back and forth to remittance areas for them to be able to pick up their physical cash. A lot of guys aren't going to want to do that. A lot of guys are going to be like, that's a waste of my time, and it's definitely cutting into my vacation time, right? But on the opposite side or on the flip side of that, guys, that's actually not a bad way to go about it, right? Because at least you know, or you can somewhat be a little bit safer in transacting that way than actually physically hoarding and bringing all of that cash with you, right? $500 pocket so that you can cash out a little bit as you need. And then if you feel like, all right, now this is about how much I know I'm going to need this week or for the duration of my vacation, guess what? Let me just go ahead and Western Union myself a personal something another through the application or whatever. Send it to whatever pickup location you're going to go to. Get that money, and then you're on your way. And you can send it as often as you need to. Now, if you want to talk about the downside of that, all of the transactional fees that you may occur or the transactional fees that may accrue over time with you continuously sending money to yourself, that could be a problem, right? That could eat away at not I'm not going to say it's going to eat away at your budget, but you have to sit there and look at it from the long-term perspective. If I keep sending myself money, 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 I'm going to be wasting a lot of money for the transactional fee. But then again, like we talked about before, you don't want to send yourself hordes and hordes of cash, even though those one-time transactions won't cost you more over time. It'll cost you less because you're sending more money at one time. But then again, that means now you have to find a way or a specific place to put this money so that you can guarantee or at least come close to guaranteeing its safety while you're doing whatever you're doing in the Philippines, right? Let's say you're staying in a hotel or you're staying in an Airbnb or wherever you're staying at. There is no way you can 100% guarantee the safety of that money. And if you're a type of person like me who's extremely paranoid from time to time and you just don't like leaving your stuff sitting in a hotel or whatever, you're going to want to take it with you so you feel like you can guarantee its safety when it's physically on your person. But let's not get it twisted, ladies and gentlemen. Those people who have been living that street life for a long time are very crafty. Some people are very good at pickpocketing. They don't even have to be living on the street. Some people are just good at it. And guess what? That doesn't mean that they're not going to get your cash if they're really crafty enough. So again, it begs the question, in your personal opinion, what do you think would be the best way or the most opportune way or the most realistic way for you to be able to somewhat reduce the risk of losing large amounts of money at a time? That large amount of money could come through transfer fees. That large amount of money could come from just hoarding the cash and losing the cash. I mean, there is a multitude of different things and a multitude of different ways that your money can get lost, right? So you have to figure out what works best for you. Some people will say, man, I'd rather just transfer the money as I need it. Some people will say, well, I'd rather just have all my cash with me. Luckily for me, guys, I'll tell you exactly how the good doc does it. The good doc secret is not a secret at all. I use World Remit. And yes, I'm going to tell y'all to use my link in the description area below to get $20 off your first transaction. Plus, you get 3 free transactions when you use this motherfucker. Description area below. If you haven't used it yet, I use World Remit. I do admit that I do have something that most foreigners do not have access to. I actually have bank accounts in the Philippines. Matter of fact, I have 2 of those bank accounts. I mean, actually, I have 3 if you consider the bank account that my girl has. I actually have 3 bank accounts in the Philippines. Like I said, that's one advantage that I know that I have that most foreigners don't have access to, right? Now, the fact that I have bank accounts, what happens is I can actually send money from my US bank account to my Philippine bank account utilizing the World Remit application. I can set it up and I can physically send money to myself and it'll just sit in my bank account as I need it. All I have to do is use my ATM, my debit card, and I can get the money out. It's plain and simple for a lot of people. But also there's one thing that a lot of people have been asking me about, And, it's definitely something that I think we need to talk about. A lot of people are like, what about the use of credit cards in the Philippines? A lot of people are like, well, man, what if I just bring my credit card or, my international credit card, or I have a Charles Schwab or whatever it is, and I can just swipe my card and I don't have to worry about paying the money out. I'll just pay the money to my card whenever, it's time for me to pay my bill for the credit card. I do not believe that that is a bad idea at all. The thing is with credit cards, though, mine are, of course, like most of you guys, from my own home country. Like, actually, I'm lying. I do have my girl's credit card if I need to use it. But if I was just by myself and I was using it, if I was a foreigner internationally traveling, I would first have to call my bank, tell my bank, hey, yo, I'm gonna be in the Philippines for about a couple of weeks, man. So I'm gonna need you not to block my shit if I swipe it in the country. Deal or no deal, right? So you're definitely gonna have to, have that conversation with your bank, let them know that you're gonna do it, and I assume that you're gonna do it anyways. But I don't really see them I've never really seen a lot of foreigners utilizing credit cards in the Philippines. A lot of have asked, some have probably found ways to be able to use their own. But for me, I don't see a lot of foreigners utilizing their international bank cards in the Philippines. Now, that right there, in my personal opinion, would be the best idea out of all three. Sending money to yourself via a remittance type of situation or through a Western Union. The other option was hoarding all of that cash, bringing it all with you as you need it, so you have access to it. And then the third option would have been the credit card one that we're talking about right now. If I could use my credit card in the Philippines, I would 100%. Why? Because if there's a transaction on there that I do not agree with, all I have to do is tell them, yo, this was not my transaction. You know what I'm saying? And you could block the card. But then again, if that situation does happen and your card does get blocked, well, guess what? How are you going to have access to money if that card is blocked? Because remember, when they block cards from your bank account, or if they block cards that are connected to your bank account, they won't allow you to use that card anymore. Guess what? You have to go. I'm sorry. They will actually release you a new credit card or debit card, even if it's a debit card. They will issue you a new card. So now you're stuck in a foreign country, zero cash, zero access to credit. Now you're fucked if you choose to only utilize the credit card option in the Philippines. So again, there are downsides and there are upsides to both of, I'm sorry, downsides and upsides to all of the options that we just talked about. But yet and still, you have to figure out what works best for you. Again, I know that a lot of you guys, 90+% of you, don't have access to a Philippine bank account. So what are you gonna do? Send money to your Filipina girlfriend or your Filipino significant other and have her take your money? Absolutely not. I would discourage that every step of the way, unless you send that money to her while you're physically next to her, so that you know that if she collects that money, it's not her collecting that money, it's we who's collecting my money. It just happens to be that way sometimes. So you just have to make sure that you follow a plan accordingly. Everybody's way of doing business is different. Everybody's way of accessing cash is different. I've had foreigners tell me so many different loopholes they've tried to come around and so many hoops that they've had to jump through in order to get access to their cash, right? I hear stories about this shit all the time. Matter of fact, I had a foreigner reach out to me probably about 2 months ago and told me that his US debit card got stuck in a Philippine ATM machine. And he was like, man, I've been trying to get it for the last couple of days and I haven't been able to get it. I had to block the card. So now I don't have access to cash. What am I going to do? These are the things you got to think about, guys, ahead of schedule. These are the things that I pray you think about ahead of schedule. Because if you're not thinking about it, guess what? The moment you're not thinking about it, that's when you can have the expectation that it's going to happen, right? The moment you're not thinking about the worst case scenario that could possibly happen with you and your money in the Philippines, that is about the time that something could potentially go wrong. Like I said, I'm lucky enough to be able to have access to multiple sources of money. Not saying that I'm rich as hell, but if I need to, I can send money to myself. I do plan on bringing, if and when the country opens again, I will definitely bring with me some of my own money, have some pocket money and be good to go. I could use my girl's debit card. I could use my girl's credit card. I mean, sky's the limit for me. And heaven forbid, I find myself in a situation where I'm stuck or I don't know what to do, or I don't know who to call on or rely on. I need a couple of dollars to get me through to the next week until I can get this done or get that done. You never want to find yourself in a situation like that, especially as a foreigner in the Philippines. So I'm telling you right now, you got to think ahead of the game, right? You think about what options you want to utilize for yourself. Go ahead and get it set up. Set up multiple options for yourself. At least find a way to get yourself set up with at least all three options. Bring you a little bit of cash, find a way, Western Union or whatever, to send yourself some cash. The credit card option is optional. The credit card option is optional. I like using credit cards. Matter of fact, I love using credit cards. I never use my debit card in the United States. I have stopped using my debit card. I haven't used my debit card in, I would say, about 3 years here in the United States. I have yet to use my debit card in like 3 years. All I do is use credit. I use everybody else's money except my own. Now, when it comes time to paying it off, absolutely. When the end of the month comes and I get that little bill, all I'm gonna do is take my money that I made in my little check, go ahead and slide it on over there and pay a little bit of that money off on that credit card to keep it pushing. But your boy's credit score is ridiculous. I'll tell you that. That's the only reason I use credit cards. And that's the only reason I would encourage you guys to use it. But using it abroad is very dangerous, Using it is very dangerous. All right. So shout out to my man Cal Winston. Joseph, what's good with you, man? Joseph, I read your comment on the video about the currency. I believe, like I said, the 1996 US dollar bill, the $100 bill, most currency exchange carriers or currency exchanges will not take that bill. They will not take the 1996 bill because I think that was a year that it was a high counterfeit rate, right? So you do have a lot of that going on. Jay, I agree, man. You have to bring more than one card. Like I said, I'm blessed enough to be able to have access to more than one card. Like I said, my girl got a debit card. She's definitely got a credit card that I have abused. I abuse that shit a lot. I abuse my girl's credit card a lot. Her credit limit in the Philippines is ridiculous. Like, I mean, that thing there, because she's had it since before I even came back to the United States, man. So she's had that shit for like 5 years or so. I abuse the fuck out of that when I'm there. Like, I don't use cash. I try not to have to use cash so that I don't have to pay cash. And basically, what we can do is we just sit there and we pay it off at the end of the month. Whenever her statement comes through, all we do is just pay it off. And that's why I abuse the credit system probably more than anybody else. I've never been late on a payment. I always make sure I put a little on it, even if I can't pay it all off, and I'm good to go. So if we could use credit cards in the Philippines as foreigners, or you feel like you're more comfortable doing that, I'd say do it. Why? That way you can't lose your money. All you gotta do is say, hey, bank, hey, bank, no. That 150,000 peso purchase of a television, or somebody went on a 150,000 peso shopping spree at the Uka Uka. Nick, what the fuck when do we go to Uka Ukas, man? Come on now. Somebody spent 10,000 pesos at a sorry store. Are you fucking serious? Nah, none of that. None of that. So you guys get the point. You can cancel a credit card at any time. Like I said, the only problem is when you do make that cancellation, you're stuck, right? You no longer have access to that card. You got to wait till you get back to your own home country to get it back. So yes, it is definitely beneficial to have more than one card with you. All right. So what are we looking at? We got 8 in the building, 9 likes, man. I appreciate y'all locking in, man. You already know the rules. If you have not dropped your like yet, make sure you do so, man. Y'all make sure y'all can rest, molest, and de-stress yourself all over that like button. It wants it, it needs it, most definitely has to have it. Again, guys, if you want to support the Good Doc and all of his endeavors, by all means, please feel free to do so. But of course, Good Doc is happy that you come through, spend a little bit of time with him today. Now you're then. Let's go ahead and get back to business as usual. Shout out to my man Philly. What's good with you, brother? He says, have you ever thought about saving some cash in person, like in a safe, in case shit hits the fan and the grid goes down, or will be useless then? Philly, I don't think that you ever caught my video, did you? Did anybody ever catch my minimalist video? What was it? Let me put that link. I'm gonna find that video for you guys. I want to put that link in the chat, bro. I said that exact same thing. I didn't say put it in a safe, but I have a go bag, right? I have a go bag just in case shit happens. That's how I watched a movie once before called The Transporter. Has any of y'all ever seen The Transporter, the first one? Press 1 in the chat if you've seen The Transporter with Jason Statham, the first one, not any of the other ones. I want to know if you guys saw the first Transporter. All right? While y'all doing that, I'm going to try to find this video for my man's here so that I can at least point you in the direction to the video where I was talking about that. Minimalist lifestyle. Dr. Mike. I'm gonna try to see if it comes up this way. Come on, buddy. Yep. It's a longer video. It's like 16 minutes long. Please forgive me. Doc was on his rant, like I always am. But yeah, I want you to watch this video whenever you get a chance, my brother, because this tells you exactly my thoughts. If you saw that video, I mentioned a movie called the Transporter, right, with Jason Statham, the first one, right? Hey, yo, that's the link to the video there. But in that particular movie, right, do you remember when they blew up his house? I don't know. I think he had transported the package. He found a little Asian girl in the trunk of the car and shit. Y'all may have remembered that part. Little Asian persuasion got caught up in the trunk of the car. I don't know what he was doing. But anyways, fast forward, they end up finding out he didn't deliver the package or some shit, and guess what? They blew up his house. This man ended up swimming to a completely different house, right? Like the man jumped into some water. Next thing you know, this motherfucker comes out on the other end in a whole different house. I thought that was so cool. I don't know what it was about that particular part of the movie. I thought it was an awesome thing. Like I'm like, yo, this man living his best life, man. He got one house here and another house there. And that was when I was talking about not being attached to materialistic type things, right? In that particular video for myself. But also, what I said is, I'm the type of person I live by a go bag, man. I don't necessarily have a personal safe, but I do hoard cash on me at all times, just in case shit happens, just in case the boy got to go. I believe in that shit, like hardcore. I believe in having cash on you at all times. I believe in having a significant amount of cash on you. But that doesn't mean that I don't believe in saving. That doesn't mean that I don't believe in investing and stuff like that. Because money saved, like physically money saved, like put into your pocket, that shit don't benefit you down the line, bro. And again, I'm all about investing and stuff like that. Y'all should know by now. So that shit don't help you, right? But in case shit happens, man, I do have a go bag. I got money stuffed in it. It ain't a lot. It's enough for me to get around until I can figure my shit to whatever, figure out whatever's going on. I always have that cash on me at all times. You know, it's nearby at all times, just in case the boy got to run from the government or some shit. I don't know. But basically, what I'm saying is, you're right. It's definitely something that I think about if shit goes down. But it's not a lot of money that I hoard. I hoard enough, but not a lot, because again, that shit ain't gonna help you. Like I said, whenever you trying to invest or trying to grow your wealth, that shit will not help you. Shout out to my brother Pedro, man. Shout out to my brother Robert representing good old Las Vegas, man. My man says, I live in Texas. After the big snowstorm we had last year and the hurricane that hit Cebu, I'm keeping cash and canned beans buried in the backyard. You funny, but I'm not against that, man. I'm not against it at all. You remind me of old buddy from Vegas Vacation. I think, yeah, it was Vegas Vacation where old buddy was digging, Chevy Chase, where old buddy was digging in the backyard. Talking about this was some shit where I sold my kidney back in 96 or some shit. I used to love that movie too. But yeah, man, I do believe in hoarding cash, but I put a CAP, on how much cash I would actually hoard, right? It's not safe to keep all that cash on you and it's damn burying it in your backyard. I get it. Or putting it in a place that's not where people would normally look for it. I get it. But, you got to think about what works best for you. I still believe so far, there hasn't been a reason for me to question the system yet. I don't believe in banks at all. I will tell you that. I am a firm non-believer in banks. I hate banks. I despise banks. I keep very little money in my bank account. If I showed you guys how much, matter of fact, I think I'm gonna show you how much money I keep in my bank account. Y'all gonna look at Doc like he done lost his mind. Give me 1 second. Let me show you how much money I keep in my bank account. My US bank account. I'm sorry. Give me a second. Anyways, guys, while I'm trying to do all of this and show you guys some shit, y'all make sure y'all drop that like, man. If you haven't already touched and distressed yourself all over that like button, you are severely lacking and you're hurting my feelings, okay? The like button should have been touched when you first came in the building. But if you haven't done it yet, ladies and gentlemen, I would appreciate y'all locking in and taking care of that for your boy right now. Again, helps the algorithm, bro. Makes me feel special and shit. So I'd appreciate y'all dropping that like for the homie, man. And again, if y'all want to support in any capacity, y'all know how to do so. But like I said, I appreciate y'all coming through, spending a little time with the good doc today. Now you're then. I'm gonna show y'all something real quick. I can't if I can't show it to you, I'll tell you how much money I have in there. The reason is I don't want y'all to know all my bank information and shit, because I'm sensitive about that. And yeah, y'all don't need to be knowing my shit. Yeah, I'm not gonna show it to you because it got all my information on there. But I have two checking accounts in the Philippines. I'm showing you right now that I'm looking at it. All right, two checking accounts, brother. And my first one, I got $20.73 in my first bank account. $20.73 in bank account number one, and then $6.87 in my second bank account. So for a total of about 30 damn dollars, that's all I got floating around in my bank account as we speak. $30. If I'm not shifting, see, here's the thing. Whenever I get paid, I already spend that money before I get it. If I'm not paying off my credit card, if I'm not paying off my or putting money into my investment account, sliding some money into my BlockFi savings account, because I do not use savings accounts by banks because banks are bullshit, then I'm taking the money out, and that's the money that I hoard. So my man Philly, that's how I hoard money. After I pay off my credit card, throw some money in my investment account, put some money in my savings account on BlockFi. I'm telling y'all exactly what I use. Doc takes all of his money out and he keeps it to hoard it. That goes into my go bag. That's my fancy money. That's my spending money, my future Philippine spending money or some shit. So that's kind of how I rock. And I've been doing that for the last year and a half, man. And it's been basically working out. And I guess I ain't really got too much to complain about. So me, I don't believe in banks anymore. So you won't see me hoarding thousands of dollars inside of the bank anymore at all. I think it's nonsense. The only time I would ever put money in a bank is when I know that I plan on sending it to myself in the future somewhere else. Right? If I know I need to send money to myself via a bank because of World Remit or whatever transfer service I'm using at the moment, I will do that. But please believe I don't leave my money sitting in a bank for nothing. I don't get charged for not keeping money in my bank account like that. It doesn't charge me. So it's not as if I'm going to lose if my bank account falls below a certain amount. For any of y'all who know, or any of y'all who are familiar with USAA, big shout out to all my veterans out there. All you have to do is have $25 to even get the checking account started in the first place. I put that 25 in there, man, and it most of the shit goes, right? I don't keep a lot for good reason, because banks are robbery. Y'all know better than that. Anyways, let me stop on my tangent real quick because my bank does do right by me sometimes. I don't really fuck with them like that. My man says, if anyone thinks their money is safe in those hotel safes, you're crazy. They all have master codes. Yes. So keeping money inside of a bank, I'm sorry, keeping money inside of a one of those fucking safes inside of hotel rooms is ridiculous. So now that's the question that we posed earlier today, man. If you bring it with you, in order for it to feel safe, or in order for you to feel safe having that money, you have to physically take it with you everywhere that you go, and you run the risk of losing it for whatever reason. Is that really safe for you? Like, I really do think about that part as well. So again, you have to figure out what would be the safest way or the best way, the most convenient way, or the most trustworthy way for you to be able to send your money to yourself or to have that money on you. You always got to think ahead of the game, guys, man. You always got to think ahead of the game. My man Joseph says, I gain points for using my card. It pays my plane ticket. Joseph, I used to want to get a points rewards credit card, but I just get cash back, bro. I just get the cash back, man. I ain't even gonna lie to you. I get the cash back. That's all I get. I get it. Whenever I used to think about that too, man. If I could get a free trip by swiping my credit card and all that stuff, I just think cash back is a whole much better for me, just for me. But to each their own. My man says always have cash on hand in the Philippines. Exactly. Philippines is a cash-based country, man, which is why when we were talking about the credit cards, I think about it like grand. That would be a grand idea because that's what I do in the United States. But yet and still, guess what, man? We're still in the Philippines, right? You're not going to be able to go everywhere and pay in cash. I mean, pay with your credit card, of course, right? So you definitely have to make sure you have cash on you. Like you can't. be walking around them Philippine streets cashless. Although it sounds beautiful, and although we're able to really get away with that in the United States, even me, my mom, yo, I got cussed out the other day. My mom was mad as fuck. She was like, "Boy, you gotta at least keep $20 on you." And I never understood why she used to say shit like that. She's like, I know that you don't carry around cash. Excuse me. She's like, I know you don't carry around cash, but you got to at least keep 20 on you. And she used to talk shit. She's like, boy, keep at least $20 on you. You know, you never know when you're going to go to a place and you can't pay for something because the card machine is down, right? Lo and behold, 2 weeks after she said that shit, guess what happened? I went somewhere, they rung me up. I didn't have any they did their card machine was down and I had to pay in cash. I said she would happen to be right, right? So, it is what it is. That shit, that's what happens, man. That's what happens. Shout out to my man, Mr. G. What's up with you, man? He says, hey, Mike, he said, have you made it to the 700 club where the kings and queens are, or the 800 plus club where the rare gods are in the credit score? I'm almost there in the 700 club. Let us know. Close to 700, my brother. Not quite at the 800 club. I'm not that elite. Not yet. Soon, soon, very soon. But right now we're floating close to the 700. I was actually in the 700 before, but a series of events wherein I didn't pay off my credit card on time because some situations happened and I had to put some shit on my credit card and I didn't pay it off on time. It kind of threw my score through a little tizzy. So yeah, we're still floating around the 700 range, close to it, not quite, but we're gonna get there. Like I said, but my credit score, if like I said, in the next month or two, my shit's gonna be in the elite for sure. But 700 Club is, I'm knocking on that door. I've been there, done that, but we just gotta make sure we do right though. JB says first rule of survival: have cash in hand, but never talk about having cash in hand. Always a great rule of thumb, especially in a place like the Philippines. Leave all that chitter chatter about how much cash you got in the background. Because what you will notice is you be talking that shit thinking you doing like you thinking you're impressing people, but what you're gonna soon find out is these people here, they're impressed by it. And now not only are they impressed by it, they gotta get through some of that too, bro. Gotta get through some of that shit too. So again, I'm not a big fan of talking about. I'm very skeptical about walking around with hordes of cash on me, man. It scares the hell out of me. Why? Because you're just one foreigner. Are you really gonna try to sit there and fight 5, 10 Filipinos if they really want that money? I've seen it happen far too often, where some guys being flaunting or whatever, they don't necessarily come up to you with the intention to fight you, but they come up with the intention on trying to take what you have. Chain snatch, watch snatch, pickpocket, right? So they're not really trying to confront you or fight you. You'll find that they're more or less trying to find a way to finesse you, take a little bit about what you got and run, right? Are you really gonna chase like 5, 10 of them bitches? I doubt it. So again, guys, you got to be careful with how you maneuver with your cash in hand, right? Some guys, they cool with it. Some guys, they've been successful at it, right? Being able to get around, maneuver around the country, man, and nobody really fuck with you. Nobody really bother you. You're quiet about yours. Nobody really knows what you got. Nobody really knows what you're holding. But every now and again, you relax a little bit because you haven't had any issues prior. So when the minute you start relaxing, shit could technically get a little shifty. So I just encourage you guys to at the very least, keep your eyes open, especially when you're maneuvering like that. Like for me, like I said, I don't really have to deal with carrying around so much money at one time, which makes life so much easier. But for a lot of my brethren out there that don't have the option of a bank account or a safe place to put their money, you just have to maneuver differently. And I genuinely hope that you guys are safe about the way you maneuver. Because again, I've seen bad situations. I've heard of bad situations. I've heard foreigners who've gotten phones taken, stuff like that. The standard, but nothing worse than when somebody deprives you of the money that was supposed to last you the duration of your trip. Ain't nothing you can do after that, right? You find yourself in trouble, you know? But, ladies and gentlemen, that's just something I wanted you guys to think about, something that I definitely wanted you to keep in mind as you venture or attempt to venture or think about venturing into a place like the Philippines. I just want you guys to make sure that you prepare accordingly. Make sure that you revise, and advise to make sure that you have put yourself in the best position to transfer cash safely, right? I wanted to make sure that you guys ain't over here get putting yourself in vulnerable positions. I would say if you had no choice, if you had no choice but to carry your cash with you, just don't carry it all in one place. Come a little bit in your pockets, a little bit in your wallet, maybe a little bit in your shoes, put a little bit in your bag. I know it sounds crazy, man, but not having all of your money in one location, one targeted location, I believe is ideal. There was once upon a time I saw this cup, right? It was one of those big gulp cups, some shit like that, I believe. It was like a cup that you carry around. And what it is the cup had a false bottom. So the bottom was where people used to keep their cash and stuff, and they used to carry this cup. But I'd be like, what if you forget to pick the cup up? Or you throw the cup away, not thinking about it, and your everything that you put at the bottom of this false bottom cup, now all of a sudden it's gone, right? Because you have some people who have utilized this cup, right? And the thing is, you just have this expectation that if people are going to rob you, they're not going to try to take the cup out your hand. They're more or less going to be focused on, your pockets or your bag or wherever normal people would keep their money, right? So the fact that they weren't focusing on the cups or anything, that's why they created this particular invention. Sounds great and it sounds grand, right? Until you forget that that cup until you forget that that cup is not a decoy and you actually think that the shit is a cup that you need to throw away. And I hope it never happens, but trust me, you just never know if it's gonna happen or not. I just don't want you guys to be out here in these Philippine streets getting fucked up, okay? For sure. See, and they, like my man said, they said that they got a lot of different types of traveling things you guys can bring with you. They got decoy safes on Amazon's, which is great to deter people or to draw their eyes toward the safe, and there's nothing in there. That's also dope. My man says they have travel pouches. So, can you buy a travel pouch that fits to your chest? Probably on Amazon and underneath your shirt. I like that idea too. Cause I mean, you really do. If you want that money, man, you really got to come see me. If you're gonna wear a pouch like that, bruh, honestly, like underneath your shirt and stuff, probably close fit to the body. I have seen those, and that's also a great idea. I appreciate that one, Jay. But if you're gonna wear a shirt, and if you really want my money, if you really want my money, you really got to come see about me, because you got to damn near undress a boy just to just to get my cash from me. So I like that one too. I'd probably look for that myself. Matter of fact, as soon as we finish online today, I might actually see about getting me one. You know, something where you keep the majority of your cash pinned to the body, but of course, you want to make sure you got some pocket, cash and stuff like that. But the majority of it just put inside of this pouch that's probably form fitting to your body. Um, yeah. I wonder what you would call it on Amazon or what to search for. Like a body fitting pouch or some shit like that. I don't know. I don't even know how you would even search for it. Y'all got to help me figure out what search your keywords to put into Amazon to find it, because I think it might be good. There has been a lot of people that have been promoting the lock sack. That lock sack was a very, very popular thing. Few years back, a lot of people were getting the lock sacks, so people couldn't break into your stuff. And I thought it was a good idea at one time, but for me, I just feel like it's just an extra piece of equipment to actually have to carry. Definitely feel like it's just an extra piece of equipment you don't have to carry. My man says our grandparents used to keep it in a shed under the bed because they didn't trust banks, a leftover mindset of the Great Depression. That shit right there got me bugged out, bro. Mm. My man says fake book saves. He said nobody's going to steal a book. That's true. That is true. Ain't no, hey, I like that. Right? I would say, yeah, the Bible, Scott. That's what I was thinking too. Get a Bible, get a fake Bible. A Bible. There has to be a Bible lock safe somewhere, right? Something you could just put on the bedstand or something you could slide into a drawer or something if you have to. I do believe there's a lot of decoy things that you guys can utilize to, keep your products and your stuff safe. You just got to be careful with how you maneuver and what you choose to put in there. It's probably just going to be nothing more than just a little bit of cash and some stuff that you really don't want to take with you when you're walking out. But like you said, ain't nobody looking at a book, man. Books are just the first thing that people overlook. But it has to look and feel like a book, right? If it looks even a little bit suspect, guess what? People just might actually try to say, well, let me steal this just because. All right. My man says I would carry a pouch under my shirt and the small cash in the pocket. I like the pouch idea. I really do like that pouch idea. Joe, my man says, Joseph, that's a great idea. It is. Travel pouch. Yep. I'm gonna look for it probably after we get offline. He said, just put your money in the freezer. That is true. Nobody goes in the freezer at all. At all. Nobody goes in the freezer. I just thought about that. Nobody goes in the freezer. Not looking for cash, at least. I think a lot of people are starting to utilize the freezer tactic. And because they're utilizing that freezer tactic more often than not, it seems as though people are wising up and going to the freezer now. I just don't think that in the Philippines they will be wise enough to go to the freezer because that's not a common place people will leave shit, right? The freezer, it does provide easy access or quick and easy access for you to be able to get to it, which I think is dope too. Not a bad idea. All right. But yeah, man. Hey, Robert, I got your message, brother. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm gonna check that out in 1 second. Yeah, I'm gonna check that out in 1 second. I'm gonna go online and check it out because those things are dope, man. Definitely need a couple of those, man, for sure. Not a couple, damn. Yeah. Matter of fact, I'm gonna buy mine today. I actually need it because right now the way I have my cash is kind of exposed a little bit. It's not really put any. It's put somewhere, but it's not put in a place where I'm comfortable with it. So yeah, we're gonna get that Bible thing popping off too. I just hope that anybody who plans on trying to rob me doesn't watch this live stream so they don't know to go looking for the Bible. Don't go looking for the Bible on the briefcase hidden behind the second shelf on the third floor. Okay, don't do that. Don't do that. Shout out to my man Mike. What's good with you, bro? He says, I'm not fighting anyone. He said, if you want it, you can have it. It's not worth it. JD, that's exactly what I'm thinking. But I never want to put myself in a position where I feel as though I got to fight anybody. Like you said, brother, you can have the shit. You can have it if you could come across it. But the thing is, I'm just not in the mood. I'm not going to fight nobody either. And chances are the money that I do carry, man, it's not going to be enough for me to be like, well, this some bullshit anyways, all right? So I don't know, man. That Bible joint though, we definitely gonna see about that Bible joint. I just hope that it's safe though, man. Like I said, I think it's meant to be more of a decoy than something that is meant to be super, super like anti-penetrable or some shit. Because it doesn't look as if it's like hard to open up. Maybe when I get it and play around with it, maybe it might be a little bit more difficult than I think for people to get into it. But it does look like something wherein it's just meant to throw people off. Like people just don't look for it like that, you know? Don't play. So again, guys, that's just what I'm thinking, man. And all I want you guys to do is to be safe, especially during your travels to the Philippines, y'all. It is a crazy world we're living in, y'all. Crazy as hell. And the last thing I need is for any of my brethren out here to get caught up in some nonsense. So for me, I'd rather just figure out the best ways to keep the money close to you or the money nearby or put it in a place where you feel safe enough to leave it if you just so happen to leave for a little bit of time. Whether you're just going out to get you something to eat with your young lady or whatever, or you're actually, I wouldn't say traveling, but going to different locations, and you just don't feel comfortable hoarding and or carrying all that cash with you. You know. So I just wanted to throw these through your mind real quick. Couple of things to stimulate the intellect. I pray that you guys have a plan for yourself on how you want to bring money to the Philippines. I think that these are things that we need to focus on as foreigners, especially traveling to the country if we do not have access to bank accounts. Like I said, in the Philippines, it's a little bit different, right? Like my bank account in the Philippines, I like it. US, I don't fuck with it very much, but the money that I send to myself in the Philippines is strictly meant to serve a purpose, right? I plan on utilizing that money frequently, but I don't want to hoard all that shit and keep it all with me because I think that may not be the best of ideas. All right. My man says they got a shaving can safe. Well, shit. So something that you can leave in a bathroom. Yo, that's dope, bro. I need to start looking into these decoy things, man. I don't need them yet, but it's something to look into, man. Because the thing is, you want your safe or whatever you want to call it to blend in and or not mimic anything that people would actually want to take if they do break in. So I think that's really dope. It's something to look into, man. Especially if you're traveling to the Philippines, pretty much you can keep it inside of like if it's about the size of a normal shaving can of cream or whatever, the thing is you can keep it inside of what you would in your normal like travel kit. If you guys have like a travel kit for yourself that has all of your shaving stuff and anything like that, you can keep it all in there. Unfortunately, I don't have facial hair, y'all, and I barely grow hair. So if somebody's smart enough to know who they're robbing and they'd be like, this motherfucker really ain't got no hair, why he got shaving cream for? Maybe just maybe just maybe they might be like, this shit sound a little suspect, right? If they're really thinking, they'd be like, this man don't even have hair. What he got shaving cream for? Yeah, they might get me. My man, they got a spam can. Bro, why don't you just get a spam can? Why would I buy a decoy spam can when I can just get a spam can? That shit don't make no sense to me. But hey, I'm gonna say carry it in a colostomy bag. Come colonoscopy bag. Bro, that's nasty as fuck. Can you imagine handing people dollar bills that smell like shit? That sounds pretty unappetizing and appealing, man. Scott, Scott, you ain't never lied, bro. I think that they might actually take the spam can. They gonna be like, shit, man, I'm hungry. This man got spam. He said, shit, we ain't had spam in a minute, bro. We gonna eat good tonight. Little do they know they're gonna probably eat more than a little good tonight, especially if they slide on that spam can like that, bro. But yeah, man, there's a lot of different ideas we can utilize, and it's great to be able to bounce these ideas off in the audience, have a little fun in the process, laugh, have a little fun and shit like that. But you got to be careful with how you choose to navigate and move your shit around the country. I think that's Evron. What's going on with you, man? He said, hell nah. He said they see food, they gonna grab that shit on sight. Yo, they is gonna grab that shit on sight. They gonna take all the canned goods you got in your pantry or wherever you stay in there. You got canned goods in the refrigerator. They gonna snatch all that shit. So the spam can may not be the greatest of ideas because they snatching up all that shit, man. They can eat good off of that. They know they can. So let's avoid food. All right, let's just stick to something that foreigners would use on a regular, right? Maybe a knockoff like Starbucks cup. They might steal that too, though. Like just put a coffee cup or some shit nearby. It just seems random and out of place. They probably wouldn't touch it. They may or may not. But spam is definitely like cash in the Philippines, bro. If they ain't gonna eat it themselves, they know somebody who could benefit from it. The effed up thing about the Philippines, but the beautiful thing about the Philippines is these people are resourceful as hell. Being a foreigner coming to the Philippines thinking that they're going to try to finesse and or take advantage of some people looking to try to take advantage of you by robbing you, well, guess what? They just might take every damn thing in the room just in case because they're going to find somebody who could utilize it. That's the problem. They know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody who could use that shit. Yo, cousin Juan over here needs some shaving cream. He been growing a beard forever. Well, guess what? My man got shaving cream. Well, guess what? That shit coming with me, right? Spam can. Y'all already know what it is, man. We're gonna eat good tonight. That spam Kim coming with me. Oh, this Starbucks cup? Shit, man, I've been looking for one of these forever, man. Trying to show people how bougie I am. Because Filipinos, for some reason, when they go to Starbucks, they be keeping that cup. Most Filipinos keep their Starbucks cup. It's like a status symbol for some. It's weird, but I learned that the easy way. Because you just see them carrying it around all the time. Anyway, they're like, yo, that Starbucks cup, man, that shit looking right. I like this. You know what? I'm gonna take that shit too. So you still, and then I think the Bible might be one of the things they take as well. Gotta be careful too. Gotta be careful, man. My man says envelope plus duct tape, and it's sticking behind a picture under the drawer or in the cabinet. Not a bad idea because most people aren't looking in those areas. They're looking through bags, stuff like that. So that's a great idea as well, Mike. Um, Putting the money in a place where most people won't look. I would not say under the mattress. That seems like the worst place to try to put that shit. But you know, it is what it is. But like I said, guys, we just will have fun tonight, man. I hope you guys enjoyed this live stream, man. I appreciate y'all locking in. I just wanted to come through and politic just for a little bit. They said they need the Bible to pray and say they sorry. Yeah. So chances are the Bible, they'll take that shit too. Trust me, most of them are very religious, so that Bible is going to come in handy. Just unfortunately, they're going to realize just how blessed they are when they get it open. So we just got to be careful, man. Now, the Bible trick here in the United States and stuff, oh, yeah, man. Uh, I think a lot of those are pretty safe ideas. But like when I'm walking on the street, I'm not going to lie, that travel pouch or that body travel pouch we were talking about, I'm going to get me one of those, man. I should never need it, but, it'd be dope to have one of those. Keep me from having to run back and forth to the bank, man. Scott, I've heard great reviews from a lot of people about the Locto. I've heard a lot of things about it. I think people swear by it, so it might be not a bad idea to at least try it. I just didn't like how much they were, man. I said, man, there's got to be cheaper, safer things I can do. For cheaper, safer places I can put my shit. It ain't gonna cost me this much. I don't know, man. But it definitely utilizes some top of the line material to keep people from being able to get inside your bag, man. Mm, mm-mm. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, Scott, it's very expensive, man. Those lock totes, man, they're pretty expensive. I haven't checked the price recently, but I do remember those lock totes are expensive. Not well, I would $100 is and is not expensive, but it's expensive enough. So yeah, those lock totes are not cheap. Even the smaller bag, they come in different sizes. They're not cheap. So it's up to you how you want to play it. But honestly, I think there are better, more cheaper, affordable options for you guys than the lock tote. Even though it's pretty cool, you put a laptop in there, you put all kinds of shit in there. I just think that there are better options, for most of us foreign folk. All right. So my man Mike said he was living over there in Long Beach, bro. Yeah. I can almost guarantee you probably had some experiences living over there in Cali, bro. That shit tough. Anywho, all right, ladies and gentlemen, let me go ahead and shout out my kinfolk and my skinfolk. Appreciate y'all locking in. To all of my silent partners in the background, the ones who just listen just because they just want to hear me speak, I appreciate you. I love you. And I appreciate the support. Manami, support that. Thank you, thank you, thank you for those who choose to tune in and listen to this nonsense. Hopefully you learned something today. Hopefully, if you didn't learn anything, you at least got something to think about when it comes to how you're going to bring your money to the country or how you're going to get yourself money while you're in the country and things like that. I think these are things that we have to think about as foreigners. That way, we not caught lacking in the Philippine streets. You feel me? That way, we are not caught lacking in the Philippine streets. All right. So, like I said, my silent partners, I appreciate y'all more than anything in this world. Y'all help the algorithm, whatever you're doing in the background while the good doc is providing the smooth sounds that you guys love to listen to oh so much. Appreciate you. I really, really do. To all of my brethren who show up in the chat, show up and show out and provide some content and for things for me to talk about, I appreciate you too. So much love to you guys, man. You guys are awesome, more awesome than you will ever know. The Good Doc, Dr. Mike TV, has the greatest audience on YouTube, and y'all know that for sure. It always seems to be positive vibes. We don't got too many people over here trying to troll this shit. Every now and again, a couple of little motherfuckers try to slide in with their bullshit, but for the most part, we got great positive energy over here, and I think that that's what makes a great channel. I believe we're not salacious enough or scandalous enough to be like one of those bigger channels. You know what I'm saying? I didn't say anything too reckless yet to have a whole bunch of people shitting on me or hating on me. Maybe I'm just not big enough yet. Maybe the hate will come. I pray that it doesn't, but if it is, I think that I have a solid audience over here, a solid support group that I think will deter all that bullshit. So I appreciate y'all more than anything in this world. Y'all know that. Y'all my people. And I love it. All right. So read out these final comments, man, and we're gonna go ahead and close it out. All right. We do, man. We it is. I don't know. It must be instinctual when it comes to tampon boxes, bro. That shit make me cringe just looking at it. Like, God damn, man. I think that's a safe place to put your money too. Let's just hope there aren't no female thieves who are on their time of the month. That would be just fucked up. Wouldn't it be your luck that you're dealing with a female thief who was definitely on their time of the month, and you try to hide your money in a tampon box? That would be just. I think that would be the universe pointing the finger and laughing at you like hard as fuck. Like, dude, you thought that you were gonna get away with trying to sneak this one in on me, homie? What you think this is, bro? What you think this is? I. But anyways, man, like I was saying, man, much love to the audience, man. I appreciate y'all locking in. We might go live tomorrow, maybe, maybe not. It just depends. Doc is gonna be on the road tomorrow, headed down to South Kakalakis, spend some time with my father and shit. That's the plan. I'm thinking about it. I should be going, but I'm not sure. But that's the plan. All right, ladies and gentlemen, love y'all, man. Appreciate the audience, appreciate the love, appreciate the energy. Y'all know what time it is, man. Time for the good doc to go and get to getting. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, good doc is officially out. At least Nicole, which means I am going now. Bye bye. As always, love you guys. Sincerely do. Makita. Mabuhay. Appreciate you, brother. You want to catch me? Yo, you can catch the replay, man. This one's not going anywhere. Appreciate y'all locking in. All right, y'all stay blessed, man. Yo, they do be keeping. Matter of fact, let me go. They be keeping that Starbucks cup, man. That's a status symbol for most Filipinos. They do be keeping it. Y'all think I'm joking? If you ain't never, boy, Filipinos in them Starbucks cups, man, that is a rite of passage. But anyways, Doc is out, man. Love y'all. Peace.